So we're going to talk about a potential alt season that could be coming at the end of the year, potentially. Now this is as normal, not financial advice. I just want to give you a run of the land in terms of the metric that I use. Now if you are new to this channel, make sure you've subscribed and hit the bell button. Again, no face, because for some reason the north of England, it's warm, right? So I'm not going to risk it melting in front of you guys because the content will not be adult friendly if I'm topless. Anyways, moving on. So most people know this. If you're new to this channel, I talk a lot about the BTC pair, Bitcoin dominance, and what that does in terms of the market overall. An alt season is essentially when altcoins are dominating Bitcoin. I don't think that's going to happen until possibly the end of the year, and there's a little bit of a structure that I want to talk about and highlight, because I think it's important to understand the difference between both of them. Now, I've said this before, right? Literally, right, I could talk till I'm blue in the face and I'll still get asked questions, right? Basically, the Satoshi price of any asset, let's just say if it's like, I don't know, 69 sats, right? For example, what RSR is roughly right now. That will be the accumulation sum of whatever the Bitcoin price is if you do the maths in terms of what 69 sats is, which is basically roughly just over 2 cents. Now, this baffles people because ultimately when Bitcoin's pumping, your altcoins pump. What is basically happening is because of the divided sum of the BTC price going up, it actually means that the altcoins are going up with it. Naturally, when this usually happens, beforehand there's usually a big bleed off. So basically sats will bleed out massively. So when you're looking at your Satoshi prices, you often find when it's Bitcoin season and Bitcoin's more powerful than everything else, Bitcoin dominance will go up, and I'll explain in a second. When obviously that happens, these Satoshi values will drop. Your altcoin will stay the same, or it might actually go up in price in USD because Bitcoin's more dominant. However, you're actually losing Satoshis. It's better to buy in BTC than USD. It always has been. Why? Because you're on the safer side of the draw. You're actually using and growing your Satoshi values of your overall portfolio. Even if you've got 80% of your portfolio in altcoins, but you're always looking to see how many Satoshis it's worth. If you carry on growing that, you will get wealthy. That's how it works. It's much easier because there's no point just growing in USD and you're getting Bitcoin poor, because realistically, when it reverses again, you're going to be poor. So realistically, you've got to be careful, right? Anyways, let's talk about this chart first, because when we kind of break it down a little bit, you can see we've had a massive drop. This is an alt season. This is and has been an alt season. It was a little bit manipulated with the fact of the dog coins and the hype marketing coins and the de-inflationary tokens that have kind of came out and about. Maybe good for other projects, obviously, but realistically, those type of coins where they were made off a meme, not ideal. So when we look at the past, and I'll look at like the 3-day chart or something, there's always at least 2 or 3 a year. This was a summer DeFi one, as we had a real nice big boom where basically everything went a bit crazy in basically end of 2019, 2020. This was when it got really exciting. May to September, it was pretty aggressive. But realistically, you see all these periods where we go up. I feel we're going to have one of those up periods very, very soon, right? That's what I'm thinking. I think Q3, give or take, very, very soon, Bitcoin will probably break out and start to get a bit more momentum. Maybe retest 41k, maybe retest 45, 50k again. Get people a little bit excited. If that happens, aligned to the fact of the big drop-offs in the altcoins and the BTC pairs, we may well find that this is just going to go up periodically. Now, when we're saying going up, 52% would look a lot better than 46 in terms of Satoshi range of your assets. Same if it goes to the likes of 57 where this line has been, and obviously 60. The higher this goes, the better the opportunity. So what you need to do, if you're interested, make sure you understand what is happening with the BTC pair, whether you're a holder, whether you're, whatever kind of holder you are, positional holder, whatever. If you got some Bitcoin and you're waiting, put it to work. So if you are waiting and you're waiting for this dominance chart to go up, you can put your BTC or you can put your stable currencies in this and accumulate Bitcoin. then you can use that Bitcoin to therefore put it into altcoins at the low Satoshi ranges. They now offer basic attention token, Uniswap, and the DAI. So even more options now. Also, if you deposit a certain amount, you get some free Bitcoin. I currently put my stable currencies in here. I get my BTC, and then I can utilize that in the future if I so wish to. For me, overall, it usually takes about 6 months or maybe even less than that realistically in this period to kind of get to a point where the dominance could be high enough to utilize. If we are going to go up to 60+%, potentially we could be looking at least 4 to 6 months for that to actually happen. So you've got a bit of time to wait. Once that does happen, you can utilize this BTC and therefore put it into altcoins, or if you so wish to, you can transfer it on the BlockFi app. Simple button. If you want to then turn your BTC into something else, guess what? You've got a better position in an altcoin. When those Satoshi values go back up again, guess what? Move it back into Bitcoin. You've got more Satoshis than you started off with. Link below. Check it out. So, as I say, it could take a while, right? Once that does happen, you're going to start noticing a lot of things. If you look at the likes of RSI as a great example. Now, I've actually bought some of this today just to kind of pinpoint my price that I bought. It was a very obvious price. You can kind of see already this red line I bought here. Pretty much simple as that. Why? Because it's been a level of support. It's also a monthly level, and I thought, why not? If the BTC dominance goes even higher, this will naturally just drop because it probably won't keep up unless there's some monstrous news and fundamentals that will keep it going. Half of the time, though, as an index, most of it, I'd imagine, say 9 out of 10 coins would follow the same path as that dominance. As the dominance rises, these Satoshis will drop. So therefore, you can grab those low altcoins. Now, flip it over. When Bitcoin and the dominance has done its magic, this is where I think the alt season's going to come. So this is where you need to pin your ears back. If this is going to happen, now I think this is possible, pretty likely, if we're looking at trend formation. We've formed a huge low. I think what's going to happen is we are going to retrace back up. I just got a feeling that we're going to retrace back up. But let's just say, for example, for a neutral point, we'll go 57 as a, this is not a prediction, this is probability. But if we do retrace that point, that would indicate, one, Bitcoin is more dominant than altcoins, it's catching its ground again. And it could mean for a nice lower high, and then it could form a new lower low. If we go from, say, 57, even 52% down to below 39.58% in the dominance, it's going to be an alt season. If we are going to be flooding all the way back down and forming a new low, we could get very, very excited in the next quarter or two. Now, if that does happen, that downward movement where you've got that passage of play where you can go, right, when Bitcoin is high enough and Bitcoin dominance is with it, I can buy altcoins with some BTC with the low Satoshis. I can just buy whatever I want. And then when it turns around and it does form a trend formation, it does take time. It's not an overnight thing. It takes months to do this. It's a big positional play. But realistically, you can then flip your BTC with the altcoins and get more BTC, right? This is what alt seasons are. It's not about the USD growth in them. It is about the value of your portfolio in BTC. Realistically, that's where the wealth is. That is where the market is made. Now, if we are looking at this to happen, you're going to start noticing on a lot of coins. Let's just look at Zilliqa as an example here. It'll probably hit the floor, but realistically, you've got to look elsewhere here. Even if we go, right, let's just say as an example, down to these levels here, let's just say 152, right? And we start going right the way back up to like this top level, and maybe even higher if it is a bigger alt season, potentially it could be looking at like a 3 or 4x in your BTC worth. So if you've got one BTC in Zilliqa, it could be worth 3 or 4 in the future. You just never know. It depends on obviously how much you put in there. But realistically, when you're thinking about it, this could actually go much higher. There's a lot of coins like this. It doesn't matter what you look at. You can see all these coins have been much higher. They've dropped. They're going to drop to a certain level again, and then they're going to retrace back up when that dominance flips back down to negative and gradually goes down. That's an alt season. That is where the value of the money in your monetary value is, because the higher the Satoshis are, the more your coin's worth. If BTC is high as well in USD, it's going to be worth even more. And then you're going to have these big, massive blow-offs, which we have seen in terms of the likes of Polkadot, $49, for example. Now what is it? 15. So Even if BTC goes up and the Satoshis go down, it will hold the price a little bit. But realistically, when it flips over, that's where the alt season is carnage. When both of them, when BTC is potentially high, and when the Satoshi ranges are going higher and higher and higher, guess what? Every single time you're looking at these BTC Satoshi ranges, if you look at this level here, this price, this is essentially what the price is in USD. It's just divided into the sum of what BTC is. Crazy. Anyways, hope you enjoy. If you do like this content, make sure you have hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button as well to be notified, and obviously check out the link to BlockFi. It does take time. If you are sitting on your hands, make your capital work for you.